All right, the long-awaited Hebrew National Beef Frank Kosher hot dog review. I mean, these are kind of similar to the Costco hot dogs, to tell you the truth. Not to give it away. I mean, I'm not trying to scare people from eating hot dogs. I'm still eating hot dogs. I mean, I had 2 hot dogs yesterday, so I mean, it's just the more you know, I guess. But man, hot dogs. It seems like a hot dog's a hot dog's a hot dog. So let's go ahead and dig into this more. All right, we got the Hebrew National in the lab here. This should be the gold standard. I mean, I have a good reputation in my mind of the Hebrew National. I think it should be really good. However, it is owned by Conagra Foods, so it may have changed over time. We do the same thing as usual. We're just going to do a cross-section across the whole hot diggity dog here, and then try to shove it into this tube right there, all right? So there we go, hot dog in the tube, non-quantitative, just shoving a bunch in there. We're going to extract it with acetonitrile here. We'll get some clean stuff. Alright, so clean acetonitrile. We're going to do maybe 800 microliters here. Ish. See how much we can actually fit in the tube. And then right in there, that's a pretty good guess. Maybe a little too much. Alright. Uncooked Hebrew National hot dog in acetonitrile. Give it a little vortex. And then on the sonicator. Alright, you gotta fill this thing up with water so things are covered. A little more. Seems pretty good. And turn it on. A minute there, it's pretty good. We'll go and take this here. Now you can see plenty of hot dog extracted into this acetonitrile. Is looking real good. Alright, so we're gonna just do a 10x. And a 5x dilution. I'd rather use the 5x if we can, but we'll see how it looks here. So we're just going to go ahead and mix this up a little bit and pull out 100 and then pull out 100 twice. You see that nice pink color. Alright, and we'll dilute that with some of my super clean water here. So we got the 10x on the right and 5x. You kind of tell the difference in color there. I'm going to spin these out. Good thing to make 2 so you can balance them. Spin these out, 5 minutes or so. So here we go, we got the 5x. That does look a little too concentrated. Yeah, I think we'll go with the 10x. Maybe you can see it, but there's some chunks and floaties, pink floaties and chunks on top of the liquid and some oil. So definitely gotta pull from the middle. I got a nice clean pull here, ready for analysis. Alright, on to the Zevo Q-Top. It is the Hebrew National hot dog position F6? Yeah, F6. Hebrew National data off the Zevo Q-Top here. See if we can get this to focus. There we go. Alright, so we got the Hebrew National extract on the bottom. Looking real good, and I put the Costco hot dog right on top, and right away you can see these are very similar. We do have this huge 488 516 masses out here in the really non-polar region that are different. We'll talk about those later. And again, we have about 496 and looks like 522. They're a little bit more elevated, but other than that, these are very similar. Maybe this Costco hot dogs is so different from the Hebrew National. Maybe they're more related than we think. They're both Conagras, my guess. So the differences that I'm seeing right off the bat is, look at that peak at 306 right down. That's kind of where I typically find flavors and things that would be interesting. So let's go ahead and compare these two. So the 306 mass and a 308 mass should be familiar from some other things we've done. So instead of seeing lots of piperin, that's the flavor in the Costco hot dog, we have an extra mass over here at 306. I think that's capsaicin. It's not that much, so I don't think these are really spicy, but I'm seeing both capsaicin and dihydrocapsaicin in the Hebrew National hot dogs. A little spicy. So there you can see, that's the 306, 308, capsaicin, dihydrocapsaicin. We want to get the fragment masses to see if we see that 137 fragment to confirm that it's capsaicin. And there we go. There it is for both the 306 and 308. We are seeing that 137 fragment match. I think this is just a teeny tiny bit of chili pepper in the Hebrew National. That's some of that secret sauce. Alright, so the next thing's just a similarity. You can see this area where there's that little bit of kind of like a spiky pattern there. That's the area where we see a little bit of plastic, PEG polymer plastic. It is potentially a slightly different pattern, but almost identical. This is maybe like in the packaging or the manufacturing process, but man, that's a good fingerprint. These things are very similar when it comes to the plastic. Alright, and the other huge thing we're seeing is this peak at 310. That's a primary component of the small molecule fraction in both. And this is what we're attributing to saponin, which is that kind of like a canola meal waste stream metabolite, showing that there is a bunch of filler in both of these dogs. Alright, so now here's a difference. If you remember, we were seeing a lot of, ignore the peak top on the top there, we are seeing a lot of this 195 mass, which is caffeine. Not a lot, but enough to see the caffeine there in the Costco hot dog. If we go ahead and extract that same mass region, where that's at, in the Hebrew National here, we're not seeing the same thing. So the Hebrew National hot dog is devoid completely of caffeine. And so I'd say if you're looking for a non-caffeinated hot dog, go for that Hebrew National. So for this next thing, I'm going to open up my blank after and before the Hebrew National run. You can see, you do have a lot of carryover masses that you got to worry about here. However, the thing we're going to talk about is we're worried about that TCEP, that plasticizer, also as a reducing agent. I think it could be like endemic in the production of hot dogs, and it's in everything. See that 284 mass is in the Costco hot dog. It's a little bit smaller in the Hebrew National hot dog. It is not in my blank. It's not in my blank before. It's not in my blank after. These blanks are the same solvents that I'm using to extract the hot dog. I think I'm good on my controls, and you can see there's that chlorinated pattern of that TCEP reducing agent, plasticizer, industrial chemical. I think I've maybe figured out why that's there. It's an interesting tag along from, I think, modified starch manufacturing, and it's actually used as a reducing agent, and let's go ahead and dig into that. Alright, so I keep finding TCEP, what I think is TCEP, chlorinated phosphate, in hot dogs, and it's not supposed to be there. But then you look up how they produce TCEP, you can see that they're actually using phosphorus oxychloride. So this phosphorus oxychloride is actually one of the starting materials in producing this TCEP molecule, which is a strong reducing agent. If you search this in food, you can find out that they actually are allowed to use this up to 0.1% in modified food starch. Modified food starch actually is an ingredient used in processing meat, specifically hot dogs. Food starch modified in hot dogs. Hot dogs are going to use this modified tapioca starch as a function of making processed hot dogs and sausages chewier and giving meat that bouncy, firm, snappy, slightly elastic, good snappy effect and texture. So I'm thinking some sort of reaction's going on, or it's coming along with this phosphorus oxychloride. So that's pretty crazy stuff. All right, now the mysterious extra peaks here at 488, 516, this 496, 522. I think those could be bile acids. Those are the only things that make sense that are way out high. Specifically, this deoxycholine-threonine and this glycolic acid, GCA, bile acid there. These typically sodium addict, but if we look into this more, we do bile acids in hot dogs. It seems like hot dogs contain small amounts of bile acids because they're made from animal meat, which contains bile acids. So the question is whether or not these bile acids are naturally present from the animal fat, which is in the hot dog production, or if they're like grinding up other parts, other animal tissues, which would have more bile acids in them, like organs and things like that. So typically, I don't know if I'd like to see that many bile acids in my hot dog. So, I mean, the Hebrew National Hot Dog, you know, it's got this really high reputation because it's like kosher and it's always had this great name. But when it comes down to it, it looks like it's just like a regular Conagra hot dog, really similar. I don't think any better for you than the Costco hot dog. Probably slightly different flavor, but pretty much the same thing.